to be back. I had a lovely Christmas, thanks for asking. Now, Christmas is over, everyone back at work. Well, I say everyone. Of course, some people come back from the holiday and just, you know, tell their bosses to stick it, don't they? Yeah. And Meghan, yes, they've announced they're stepping down as senior royals and will be moving to Canada. Now, in fairness, people have been expecting this from Meghan for a while. It's what you do, isn't it? You win the lottery, then you quit. Now, here's Meghan being reminded that they've just spent £2.5 million of public money refurbishing their house in Windsor. Oops. My bad. One of the reasons they wanted to leave the UK is the treatment they got from the press. And you can't blame them. You can't blame them. I mean, look, here's a nice, happy picture of them arriving home, right? Lovely. But the press, all they saw was that little stain in her armpit. That's all they saw. And you think, oh, come on. You should be celebrating. At least one member of the royal family can actually sweat. Let's get some guests on. Later, we'll have music from the one and only Craig David. She's an actor, writer and producer and the comedy genius behind British sitcoms Motherland, Pulling and Catastrophe. It's Sharon Horgan, everybody! There she is! Oh. Hello. Hi. Lovely to see you. Happy New Year. Have a seat, too. This Scottish actor shot to fame in Cabaret and went on to star in Hollywood films and the hit TV show The Good Wife. Now he's back on the West End stage in Endgame. Please welcome Alan Cumming, everybody! Oh, marvellous. Energy. Marvellous. Have a seat, too. Joining Alan in Endgame, this man has managed the rare feat of going from child star to one of our busiest actors on both stage and screen. Please welcome back Mr. Daniel Radcliffe! And she's not just one of our most versatile actors, she's a force of nature. Here to tell us about her latest role in the nation's favourite, Called the Midwife, it's always a pleasure to welcome Miriam Margolyes! Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Wait, are we still saying Happy New Year?
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Now, Miriam Margolyes, is this it now? Have you been banned from daytime television?
Well, I said twat or twat, you know, and apparently it's one of the worst things you can say.
Is it?
Yeah, but well, they sent me a list of the things...
And you memorised it?
Well, one of the words on it was one I had never heard of. I don't know if you have.
What was it?
It was munter. Munter. Have you ever heard of that word?
How do you spell it?
Heard of it.
M-U-N-T-E-R.
Yeah,
Yeah.
think it's,
What does
I
that
don't know
mean?
where it originates from, but I think it means an unattractive woman.
Yeah. Or I don't know. It was
Oh, is it
gender
not?
specific. I think it can be. I think it
Or
can be
man.
either. I think it can be both.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Well, has anybody heard it in the audience? Oh, well,
Lovely crowd. Yes, we've all been called that. Yes.
What was the TV show?
It was called This Morning.
Oh, yeah.
It still is.
Yeah. But actually, Sharon Horgan, you've had a daytime television experience.
Yeah, I dropped a carrot on Sunday brunch and I said, shit!
Is that a euphemism?
trouble.
Dropped a carrot.
No, I did. I was, you dropped some of it and got frightened and said shit.
But was it in Catastrophe that your mother didn't like all the swearing?
No, I think my mother was fine with the swearing in Catastrophe. I did an interview once, and the journalist said that I used the C word...
Carrot.
Carrot. That I said carrot quite a lot.
Quick.
And she...
He's so quick.
No wonder you're our favourite guest. Talk amongst yourselves. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, she just didn't enjoy that. I just blamed the journalist.
Now, Daniel Radcliffe, presumably you are familiar with Miriam's potty mouth because... are you? Because you were in Harry Potter, but did you actually work together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we
absolutely.
did.
But I don't remember. I don't even remember you swearing a lot in front of.
I was probably careful when it was you,
Okay.
but when, you know, with the other kids, I didn't bother.
He's the lead. Yeah.
I was just talking backstage, if that's what you call that funny little
All right, Miriam.
grubby area. And apparently it's 20 years since Harry Potter came out.
Since we started filming the first
First one.
And your balls have dropped since then, I can tell you that.
It's a relief to us all.
I hope so.
No, because they're just wee kids then.
We get it, yes.
It's just, yeah.
But it's interesting because Professor Sprout, which, you know, you were in the second film and the last film.
Yeah, I should have been in all of them.
Yes.
And that was a grave oversight, and
I
I'm
told
holding
them.
you responsible.
I told them.
But anyway, it was wonderful to be in the two that I was in, and I'm very proud of it.
But you do get recognised as Professor Sprout.
I do. I mean, I think I've changed since then, but people do recognise me. And funnily enough, in Lithuania,
Lithuania?
Have you come just to see Professor Sprout?
I don't think so.
Oh, the film's called Professor Sprout and the Deadly Allergy.
No, but I was mobbed in Lithuania. Maybe because I was Jewish, I don't know. I'm the only one left.
Sorry.
Stop cheering now. But I just think that's incredible. Like, you're being mobbed in Lithuania and you were Professor Sprout. Imagine being this man.
I know. What was it like?
I mean, it's weird and funny, and I think the best way to see it always was like weird and funny, because you know, and it ebbs and flows, and sometimes it's in your life a lot, and sometimes it's not in terms of getting recognised. And there's been lots of very odd moments. I was chased out of a science museum in Spain, and I was just like, but it was sort of fine because everything was in Spanish there, and I couldn't understand anything inside, so it was time to leave anyway.
Yes.
And then, but yeah.
But someone thought you were something else in New York recently.
Oh yeah. You know what? Actually, this did not come up in with it. Yeah. So I did recently. So me and my girlfriend fostered a dog, and we sort of got our friends to adopt it. This isn't unnecessary for the story. There's a dog with me. I was on the street with this dog, and my girlfriend was in the shop, and so and it was very cold.
Hoodie.
And I got my hoodie and my fleece hoodie, and then a big coat over that. And the dog was really cold, so I was like, oh, I'll just kneel by you and like stroke you and like try and keep you warm. And then I saw this guy like look up at me like 10 yards away and smile, and I was like, yeah, and just carried on. And then he walked past me, and he came back. Like, got about 5 steps past me, and then just reappeared with a $5 bill over my shoulder and just went, "Get yourself a coffee, mate." I really, like, my girlfriend came out, and I was like, I don't think I'm wearing nice clothes, I thought. Like, I don't know. Yeah, so I was very much, that was a wake-up call. Apparently I have to maybe, you know...
Was your dog on a string?
I do maintain, because the person that owns the dog has also been mistaken for a homeless person with this dog. I think the dog just looks very cold and sweet and vulnerable.
Don't blame the dog.
No, I know. Yeah,
the dog looks cold.
You know, shivers and just little
And hungry.
Yeah. And,
You know, they are weird, the big franchises, because Alan Cumming, who did do the X-Men one...
Yes, I was in that.
And I believe... And
I did.
You did do a comic.
No, I did. Well, no. Since I did one, I said I'll never do another one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you,
I did
do you
this thing.
actually walk away with a suitcase full of money?
Yes, you get paid in cash.
You get paid in cash.
So I did one called. I'd never done it before, and I did one that was called Collector Mania, and the emphasis was on the mania. And I was like, all right, and it was lots of money, and I would fly me and my husband over. I saw friends in London, la la la. But then, guess where it was? A shopping mall in Milton Keynes.
and how many people? Like,
Well, it was lots. There was like a Hobbit next to me. There was a Star Wars person next to me.
still is.
And I met the real Uhura, the original Uhura, and there was the Chewbacca.
Uhura?
Yes.
Uhura, you know.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Uhura. And,
Can you understand what he's saying?
Oh.
No, because your accent is really
Pardon?
strong.
So sorry, I can't understand you.
I know. That is... I'm going to talk like you now.
Oh, yeah.
He left England to get away from that kind of thing.
No, but I remember when you didn't have such a strong accent.
What?
No, honestly.
Where?
In America.
Well, I was maybe doing an American accent.
Ah, that might... You were.
Like, was I acting?
Maybe it's that. But it's fascinating, isn't it? Don't you think?
Me?
Because
Yes.
you're Irish, you're Scottish, you're English, and I'm posh. It's true. Sorry, go go on.
So everybody was there, all these different people from all different films and everything like that. And it was in a shopping mall in Milton Keynes, and you were in these rows, sort of, you were behind these desks, and they would say things like, Alan Cumming, Nightcrawler, and blah, blah, at number 13. Good time to go to him now. The line's down to 6 people. It was just mortifying. And then you had to wait and get paid, and you got paid in cash. So I decided I didn't like it. I didn't like being in Milton Keynes, and I felt a little sort of... I felt a bit whore. I felt a bit of a whore. And then people would come dressed as me and X-Men to be sat, and I didn't know what to say to them. And so, and they were nice and everything. But anyway, I got the money, and I went back to the hotel, and I got Grant, my husband, I took my top off, and I got Grant, my husband, I put all the money, it was like, when you rob a bank, it was in little things like that, little thing, and I put all the money all over me like this, and I made him take a photo. I said, I never want to forget what a whore I am right now.
Miriam Margolyes has been delighted again on television screens in Call the Midwife. It's a special on iPlayer. Now, are you now the Mother Superior?
I am.
So you're...
But I am the only Jewish girl in the convent, yes.
And you love this job, don't you?
I love it.
And you actively canvassed to be in Call the Midwife?
I went down on a lot of people to get that job.
Time well spent.
Not true. They all got out from under.
They're like, stop, OK.
I do love it. I do love it.
And listen, before we talk about it, we've got a clip of you in action. Oh, yeah.
I've never actually seen that before, because I don't watch myself.
Oh.
And now I know why. Bit of overacting.
You were
there.
very good, kicking priest ass. It was excellent.
Did you believe that?
Broken woman.
I did.
I loved that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a terrific series, and I love it.
It is a lovely, lovely series.
Yeah.
But the thing about nuns, though, is look, Sharon, can you watch Call the Midwife, or does it bring back kind of terrible memories of school?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am a fan of nuns, honestly. My auntie's a nun, and she's a great, great person. But the nuns I was taught... I went to a convent school, so the nuns I was taught... I mean, the head nun was... a
fiend,
oh,
was she?
My God. She was about 6'2" as well. I mean, she was enormous. And she had a twitch and a squint on the same side of her face. And she was full, old school hellfire and brimstone. We all had to bring our Bibles to assembly morning and afternoon, take them out. It was always the Old Testament. Which is
well,
where the night stories are.
The Old Testament is best. You know that.
But yeah, she was just incredibly strict and.
Did she hit you?
No, she picked on me once for... you weren't allowed to walk on the back of your slippers. It was just one of the rules, because it looked sort of slovenly.
Oh, yes.
And also I drew a face on a diagram of a uterus in biology. But those two things combined, when we were in assembly, she called me out. She didn't say my name, but she talked about a girl, who had done these certain things, and said I was the spawn of the devil and a child of Satan. And I remembered, I remember feeling...
She was overacting, I think.
And, Alan, we found a nun connection from your school days. This is Carnoustie High School, but these aren't real new.
Ah.
Is that you?
That adventure. Oh. Yes, and it was a high school play. I had actually sexual relations with some of those nuns.
Oh, really?
For real?
We were struck that Lewis Capaldi...
Schoolboy fumbles.
I thought you were gay. I'm confused. Are you bi?
I'm bi.
Are you really?
Yeah. So glad to hear from you.
She's interested now.
Yeah.
No, but bi is interesting. Bi is interesting. But now you're married. You're not.
Now I'm married to a man.
But you were married to a woman, weren't you? When I knew you, you were married to a girl.
Well, you know me now.
I mean, now you're not married to that lady.
No, not for decades. No.
Do you feel more you now, or I mean, don't you think it's interesting when you?
Ish.
OK, well, I'll stop talking about it, but I just think it's fascinating. I
think it's interesting that people don't talk about it more, and that if you... I think, you know, in our life in general, everybody wants things to be black and white, and sometimes they're grey, and they're grey for me. They've always been grey, and I'm determined to keep them grey. Grey! That's like in play.
Well, I agree with that.
Here's the grey. Here's the grey. That's great. And because I'm working around the couch talking about school days, you think, oh, he's going to go to Daniel Radcliffe and talk about it. But you didn't go to school.
I mean, I went to school.
But very briefly.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I died sort of the first 10 years, and then, well, however long you go to school for. Yeah, I'm not very experienced at it.
Yeah,
but yes, I went to school on set and just wasn't there very much, and it was one of the things I loved about Potter was because it got me away from school.
Did you have to do any exams?
Yes, I went back for exams, which sucked.
So you didn't do exams?
On
you had
set,
to go back
no,
to an actual
go back
school?
to my actual school.
And they must have just hated you when you showed up.
I think so.
Yeah. Harry fucking Potter's back.
Yes, a lot of it. I think I was also probably, you know, prick. I was a 14-year-old teenager, so on some level they were probably being, and I probably was as well. But yeah, it wasn't.
And did they make you go all the way? Do you have to do A levels and things?
I dropped out. I stopped after AS level, so I stopped at 17.
Oh.
And
You haven't got any A levels. Sorry, haven't you got any A levels?
I've got AS levels if they count.
What does that mean?
They don't.
You do AS when you're 17.
Hey, can I say hi to my daughter Ivy, who's doing her GCSE mock?
It's not a radio show.
We'll all see. We'll all see.
Shout out.
I promised her. Good luck, Sive.
This one.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Tweet about that. It's not in. It's never going to be on telly. Yeah. We don't care. Good luck. Good luck to her. I don't actually care. So good luck. Good luck. So we've got no school photographs of Daniel Radcliffe, and I'm so sorry. I never thought we'd be doing this again, but viewers won't let it go. The Daniel Radcliffe time traveller thing, right? Now, it is bizarre. So there's all the old ones we used to have. I think that was the first one we ever showed.
There's a thing that happens when I come on this show where that people sort of dredge the internet and have found photographs of people that look like me throughout time, and turns out there's a lot of them.
Some of them, that's rubbish.
Had, right?
That's quite. Actually, that is quite good, I suppose.
Yes, that's good.
That's quite good. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, look, there you are as a nun. There you go.
Oh, yeah. I feel like getting less like me and just forward like a person with glasses.
This is still one of my favourites because you look so happy in this one. I think this was when you were time travelling. You hit a really good bit of your life here. There you go. I think you were in love. We've got some new ones.
I look like many other members of my family.
Now, weirdly, we found one of you. I think you're married to Robson Jerome.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you not look happy? You got That's a bad body of your life. That's a what the...
I take issue with...
Yeah, no, that's nonsense.
But okay.
This one is good. This is, again, another very, very jolly bit of his life. Daniel's really loving life here. Hello.
That is just...
We turn to theatre, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Radcliffe, Alan Cumming, together at last on the West End stage in Samuel Beckett's Endgame. It opens at the Old Vic, I don't want to worry you, on the 27th of January till the 28th of March. So, I mean, you know, they know Endgame by Samuel Beckett, but sell it to them. Tell them what they need to know.
Thanks for giving us the hardest possible intro to that question.
No. But it is a hard play. It's a hard play. Samuel Beckett plays are hard to talk about, but try.
Well, it's about death.
Do you want it? Yes.
And the end of the world.
Yes.
And disease. And aloneness against community.
Yes.
And...
Lost hope.
Lost hope.
Miriam's also done Endgame, so chime in, please.
Yes. Yeah. Sharon, anything?
No, you're all right.
But you know, it's like a vaudeville act in hell.
Yes.
Okay.
That's...
And you play Ham?
Yes, and I will be being a big ham as well.
I won't hear it.
And Daniel, you play...
Clove or clove.
Clove.
They are sort of. It is. You're 4 people in a room. 2. I'm sort of Alan's a slave and servant,
so
and we are just locked in this sort of relationship where we hate each other but can't tear ourselves apart. But it's funny. It is also funny, and somehow that happens.
And famously, there's the parents in Dustbin.
Yes.
And Miriam, you played the mother at the National. I think we've got a...
That Frank Kelly.
That's Tom Hickey.
in the bin for hours.
Hours. Yes, hours.
Did you?
Did
We've got what do you call them now? Not the dustbins, the ones that the trolley bins.
Like
We have
wheelie
trolley
bins.
Oh,
A wheelie bin. Oh,
Jane Horrocks as being you.
peel him while I actually...
Did you not? Did you have? Wait, you didn't have to stay in the whole. Surely they had
Not the
travel.
whole thing. No, we could go up and down.
Okay.
But
Good.
it was very tiring,
No, yeah.
actually. It
Does
really
it have
was.
a pedal? Is it like a pedal bin?
No. That's what someone once said about my foreskin.
Really?
I just remembered.
Have you got a foreskin?
The makeup lady.
Of course you are, that's right.
Yeah.
Have you got a foreskin?
Loads of them. I collect them.
Well, you know, there's that cream now that you can get. That's they make because foreskin.
Can I just say, that shout out to your daughter's in. I thought there wouldn't be time. There will. No, do go on, Alan.
There's a potion that you could get for your face that's made from foreskins.
Why?
Yes.
I wonder what they did with them.
To send them off and, you know...
Well, I'm
slave
feeling
these-
a bit divided about foreskins, actually.
Why?
Because men are dirty, and they don't clean round the rim.
Oh, there we are.
They don't. I'm sorry. Do you know the word smegma?
Oh, my God.
Well,
Sharon, are there any other members of your family that you'd like to give a shout out to? Because I have a feeling your daughter may not be watching this now.
go on anyway, sorry.
No. Endgame. Endgame. Yeah.
And Endgame.
Opening January 28th.
Yeah.
27th.
27th.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful play.
Wonderful play.
Wonderful
Great.
play.
Yes.
Really great.
I know what I want to ask. You posted this picture on... to do with the play, right?
I was, yes. In the play, I'm blind and I'm in a chair throughout it. And so they're doing this thing where I have little withered legs over the edge of the chair. So that was that atrophied legs. I was in some sort of model pose.
Yes, beautiful.
I am
depths of
definitely
the
going to
old
come
bit.
and see it now. See the little legs.
Atrophied
I'm
legs.
like crossing my legs, crossing my withered legs.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
But it really is a great
the bank.
play.
Yeah.
And it's a great test of being an actor to be able to do
No
that.
pressure, Miriam Margolyes.
Yeah.
No, I have total confidence in both of you. You're wonderful actors.
Thank you.
Foreskin or not.
We both get foreskin, don't we? Well, you can get.
And I'm talking about theatre. God, first show back. Did it have to be this hard? But no, I do think it's interesting, Daniel, that theatre, what you've done is really clever because you've used it kind of to prove your mettle as an actor and to kind of reinvent yourself.
It also sort of, I think it makes you better. Like you have, it's hard work, and I think it also gives you a lot of confidence to know that I am not just entirely a product of editors and directors and to know that you can in some way do it on your own and exist outside of that is really nice, and it's also fun. Like I love film sets and I love being on them, but you don't get the sort of raw rush that we're going to be that I'm dreading in 2 weeks. Yes. But you don't get that from anything else.
Because Alan, obviously theatre is very important to you. Kind of cabaret brought you to America.
3. I did it in London with Jane Horrocks, actually, who's playing the part that you played.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, Jane Horrocks and Carl Johnson's my dad.
I must see that.
And it's so funny. I was saying to Jane that 26 years ago, she was my sexy co-star in Cabaret. Now she's my mum in a dustbin.
Show business.
That's the acting industry
That's
for
right.
ladies.
Yeah, for ladies. Well, that's.
But I did it in London, and then I did it on Broadway, and then I did it again on Broadway just a few years ago. I went back and did it again just before I die.
And which time did you have the thing where it was really hot? Do you know the story I'm talking about?
Always hot, good. Well, when I got hit on the head.
Yes.
That was the first time on Broadway.
Oh.
So what happened was I was going to do a film, so I'd gone to LA for a costume fitting, and I came back, and you know, in the plane you get all funny, your tubes get all funny. So I did a neti pot. You know that little thing? You put salty water in a thing, and you go up like this, and it goes up your nose and comes. You know that thing?
Yeah, I know that thing.
I love them.
And then so it's like a thing to clear out your tubes.
Okay.
With salty water. Kosher salt, actually. Shout out to the Jews.
That's good.
So I was doing the show that night, and I'm sort of lounging provocatively, you know, on the top of the thing. And you know, like when surfers get that surfer's drip thing, where an hour after surfing, suddenly this stuff gushes out. Well, I'm just lounging like that, and all of a sudden, a gush of water just comes out my nose and down my bare chest. And I'm like, wow, not so sexy now. And so I kind of, you know, amble over to the side of the stage and blow my nose, and then I sort of had to get down the stairs and back into the play. And because it was a different route that I was taking, because I was now off the side, I ran right into a light. A big, huge light, and it went... I made this huge divot in my head, and then for the rest of the first half, I was getting more and more woozy, and I'd go to open a door in my hand, I couldn't find the handle, and I'd be like, Sonny Bones, like this. and then what was hilarious is at the interval, I went up, I collapsed, and I went up to my dressing room and collapsed, and the stage manager came up to my room and stood over me like this and went, Alan, do you think you'll be able to do the second half? I have to go to the hospital. and so there were all these people suddenly were in my room. They're all freaking out, you know. And I had to go to the hospital, and they were trying to get my clothes off. And I was just because at the end of the first act, I had a swastika on my bum, and I lifted up my coat, and that was the spotlight on my cheek, and that was the end of the first act, like symbolised the rise of, you know, fascism. Mm-hmm. My bum was a conduit to a political message. And
it's been a conduit for a lot of things, honey.
Cheers. So anyway, I was like, they were all trying, get quick on in the car, so you've got to go to the hospital. And I was just getting wet wipes and going like this, and like, what are you doing? I said, well, the doctor might be Jewish and I'll be angry I have a... and then I got to the hospital, and it was indeed a very hot night. It was a summer night. And I was all like, I got tubes in me and wires and everything. And there was a lady who'd been in the audience, had fainted with heat stroke, and was taken to the hospital and was in the next room to me in that same hospital.
Wow.
And so they came in, and I was with my mask on and said, Alan, there's a lady next door, and she was fainting, and, you know, blah, blah. Would you go in and say hello to her? I was like, what? And so, anyway, I heard them, and I'm in my trolley, in my little, you know, stretcher on wheels, what do you call it, and with tubes and everything. And I heard them go, you know how you were so sad, you were so excited to go and see Alan Cumming? And she goes, oh, I waited for months for my ticket. I can't believe I missed seeing him. And they went, well, here he is.
Lovely stuff. Now, here's the thing. There's a true story behind our final product of the evening. It's Sharon Horgan bringing us a famous story from a few years ago.
Yes.
The Military Wives Choir.
Yeah.
So, but it's that true story, but they've fictionalised it to a certain extent.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's inspired by that. It's inspired by this group of women on a military base who set up a choir to sort of help take their minds off the terrible situation that their partners are in, and it was when they were sort of deployed to Afghanistan. But in the real thing, the documentary, Gareth Malone turned up. So him out of the story.
Oh.
So he's not in it. It's myself and Kristen Scott Thomas. We're the characters.
You're working with her?
Yeah.
What's she like?
She's so great.
I've always disliked her. Is she nice?
She's great.
I don't know her.
No,
you know,
she's sort of almost as mad as you. Like, well, I mean, sometimes they...
Foreskin, anyone? And are you and Christian, are you based on real people, or are you kind of amalgamation?
We're an amalgamation. Both Kristen and I thought we were too old for both of those characters anyway, and would often laugh about that. But yeah, we're loosely based.
And it's one of those things, because it's something about groups of people singing, it is instantly moving.
It is instantly moving. Like that documentary, I couldn't get through it. I just sort of blubbed constantly, but also because it really did bring them together. It really did sort of create this beautiful friendship, some camaraderie. And we had it even like in rehearsal. Like we didn't get a huge amount of rehearsal because our director, Peter Cantanio, he didn't want us to sing very well, which was not a problem, by the way. But he was, anytime he saw us sort of practicing or whatever, you know, he'd sort of freak out and tell us to stop. Like, because he wanted us to get better over time, like they did in the choir. They started out with...
Is this a play or a television?
No, it's a movie.
It's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie.
Over March the 6th.
I really want to see this.
We can see a little bit now. We've got a clip. This is you and Christian Scott Thomas, I know.
So lovely.
She's so lovely. I've met her. She's very nice.
She's nice.
She's very
darling.
Nice. Very nice. Very
And
nice.
she's super funny.
Not convinced. Here's the two of you at Loggerhead.
Oh, it looks wonderful. I'm going to see that.
You can sing, can't you?
Well, I mean, you saw and heard. Well, no, not really. I think everyone sounds better together, like, and that's what made us really close, and that's why I kind of understand why these amazing, brave women, like, wanted those choirs in the first place, because it just brings them together.
Yeah. Hey, but listen, you're very successful now. You've written Pulling, Catastrophe, Motherland, Divorce, and you've talked in interviews about how, you know, you're very open, you mine your own life for a lot of the elements of these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. Like with Motherland, because I do the school drop and you hang out, you know...
the mums and...
in the school playground and at the school gates, you would turn up to pick your kids and just sort of glance to your left and go, right, well, there's at least a portion of an episode. And it was just there. It was like shooting fish in a bowl or whatever, saying it.
Is it true that the character...
A very good friend, and it's fine because she knows. And she didn't know, like, from the offset, but once we filmed it...
she guessed.
No. I actually showed her a rough cut of it because I was feeling like she told me a story that is wholesale in there. So I wanted to show her that scene, and yeah, she was delighted. She was absolutely fun. But some people, like there's one mum at my kid's school who, for the whole first season, she's like, when are you going to put me in it? You know, when am I going to see myself in it? And so for the second season, we came up with this new character, and it's like, again, it's just her. It's her. And one night when she was really drunk around in my house, I thought, well, I'll show it to her. It wasn't that flattering, you know. I mean, I took her bad bits, and I showed it to her, and she was just like, and I was like, it's you? And she's like, no, I don't. I can't see it, babe. I just... That's not me. I think you... And what people don't see themselves.
They choose to see what they want, don't they?
Which is kind of lucky.
But now, talking of mining people's lives for drama and comedy, Miriam Margolyes, things happen to you. Like, is it your house near Dover?
Oh, yes. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I do rent my house. And if you're interested...
Two other people. I mean, she owns
two other people. And it's the nearest house to France, which is very important in this story. And it's £425 a week, and it sleeps 6 people for 7 nights. It's clean.
Is there a cleaner?
Yes. Anyway, one day I got a call from the police, and they said, are you the owner of the gun emplacement? And I said, yes. And they said, are you aware that it's been used as a drop for criminals to get rid of their drugs, or, you know, it's a drug drop. I believe that's the phrase. And I said, well, of course I didn't know. What do you mean? And they said, well, people have rented it. They were a gang from Liverpool, I think. And they took my house, and they dropped the drugs in the bay, and there was a helicopter that came on the roof. It's a flat roof, you see. And they had cocaine. They had something like 13 million pounds worth of...
What?
No, it
cocaine.
wasn't like a little thing. This was a massive...
A massive 13 million
Jesus Christ.
of cocaine.
That's street
No, I've never
No, not
taken
stupid. No,
anything.
that was like wholesale.
Oh, wholesale.
Double.
Listen, it's wholesale, of course. Well, of course, I was horrified because I didn't know. I mean, I don't have anything to do with the people that rent it.
No.
I just take the money, you know.
Yeah.
Could have got more.
And I could get more for it because it's really lovely, actually.
There's all that
But what
cocaine.
was upsetting to me was when it was reported, of course, in the Daily Mail, all the people online said, oh, she must be in it. You know, she's part of the gang.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
No, they did. And they were calling me Miriam Escobar. Never forget that.
Very good. Right, it's time for music. And it's 20 years, unbelievably, since this man burst into the spotlight with his debut album, Born to Do It. Now he's back performing an exclusive medley. Please welcome Craig David. Beautiful job! Craig David and the Tommy O'Byrne. Craig, come on over now. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Thank you so much. An amazing live over. Come on over. This is Sharon, Alan, Daniel, Miriam, Craig David right there.
Nice to meet you.
Now, have a seat, do. Craig David, thank you so much for that.
It's a pleasure, thank you.
Lovely. And that was, I mean, it's extraordinary. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Those are the first two singles, weren't they?
Yeah, we Rewind and then we had
Yeah.
Filmy in 7 days, but it feels like only yesterday, it really does.
Yeah, well, it does. Listening to them, it does, actually, because they really stand up.
Yeah, and you know, and that's, I feel very fortunate that over the 20 years to have like the fans who've been there from the first time round, and then seeing
Still alive.
They're still alive. They're still alive and kicking. They're kind of, but then seeing the older brother and sisters coming through, and then seeing the younger generation.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've got this wide demographic of people.
But also,
It's
it's
amazing
funny you say
outside.
that thing the first time round, because you did that thing, you burst onto the music scene, you know, and like pop stars do, you burnt really brightly, and then, as these things do, you know, it drifted away, you went off to Miami, and we kind of knew you were in Miami, and da-da-da. And then when you came back, you were so instantly cool again. Like, which it was like the world decided, Craig David, cool again. I mean, how did that happen?
Do you know what it was? I mean, Miami was. I mean, it was great for me for the period of time I was there, and I was throwing a house party there, which was.
But in your house?
In my house. It started off as like 10 people, pre-drinks before we went out, nice and easy. Couple shots and we were good. And then it kind of word of mouth spread, and people were like, "Oh, can I come to TS5?" And they were texting their mates, "Can I come to TS5?" And then it just sort of built to the point where I was playing to like nearly 100 people in my home, which was, you think it was strange, but actually it was. Everyone respected it like it was my home. But there was a moment where I remember we'd had a couple of drinks anyway, and I'm playing my music, I'm on the mic, everyone's having a good time, drinks on tap, food there. I look over and I'm like, I swear there's Leonardo DiCaprio over there. Is that Leonardo over there? And I'm like, it can't be. It must be the drink getting me a little bit waved. So I just carried on like playing. Thought nothing of it. The following day, he's like, did you see when Leonardo was in your house? I was like, no, I thought it was the drinks. I was looking. It was just crazy to go from like 10 people with my mates.
Yeah, to
someone
Leonardo
like,
DiCaprio.
Yeah, coming through. So
But
yeah,
no,
it
it's
became
so
a thing.
weird. So you ran a house party, and in a way, Alan, what you've done a sort of house party, but
Yes.
turned it into a thing.
Sort of. Like I had a dressing room. I used to have a party in my dressing room, and I called it Club Cumming. And
That's the surname.
that's my surname, thank you. And then now I actually have a bar in New York called Club Cumming.
Right.
It's a cabaret bar. You've been, haven't you?
I have, but you haven't had Leonardo DiCaprio, but you have had big names at it.
Yes. Yeah.
Drop them.
Yes,
Drop
well,
them.
Well, I think the story you're referring to is one time when Adele and Jennifer Lawrence came, and they were having a good time, and they went downstairs, and there was a drag queen on that night hosting a thing, and they went downstairs into the basement, the very unglamorous basement where the dancers get changed and the drag queens do things, and it's all crates of beer and things and that, and they were down there, and there's a video Jennifer Lawrence getting her makeup done by a drag queen. And as she's doing this, Adele, we both had a few, and Adele comes around the corner and goes, "She's the fucking face of Dior."
Now, Craig David, you are on a UK arena tour. Now, is this to celebrate the 20 years? Or is it? Are you going to be doing new music, or is it all the old stuff?
No, we're going to do both. A little bit like the New Year's Eve party.
Okay, yeah.
So it'll be like some of the nostalgia with the full band show, and then I'll switch into more of the party, TS5 house party that we were talking about, the second half. So people get a bit of everything.
Presumably tickets for that, because it's later in the year, isn't it? It's spring?
So it's April, yeah.
April. And you're going all around the country, and I know you finished with 2 nights at the O2, and one of them is already sold out, so...
Yeah, so it's been brilliant. I'm really grateful.
Well, listen, thanks for that performance, and good luck with the tour. Craig David, everybody! Beautiful. Really that's it for tonight. We don't have time for the red chairs, I'm afraid. Please say a huge thank you to all my guests. Craig David! Sharon Horgan! Alan Cumming! Daniel Radcliffe! And Miriam Margolyes! Join me next week with singer Michael Kiwanuka, comedy genius Jennifer Saunders, actors Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx, and the legend that is Sir Patrick Stewart. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.